Hello everyone, and welcome to another Arknights Endfield video. And today's video is mainly focusing on Umbral Monument with E2s. I know, creative, going from E1 to E2. But it is the kind of feel, showcase, see how things
Constant vigilance in every place and situation. This is a rule that I never break.
Rip whoever's tower that was. But anyway, where do we even begin? So, I guess, before we talk about the squad and hitting Umbral Monument,
driving me crazy.
Let's talk about, some things on the side, shall we? At least, Pognishnik is, trying his best placement. Okay, anyway, so while we're kind of doing some, somewhat daily things here, I've been playing the game a decent amount. I've been playing it a bit more than I normally have been able to, focusing more on this than anything else, along with, of course, the current Arknights collab that's currently going on with the Ava Mujica collab. I did a decent amount of stuff in Origin Science Park and the Load Spring. So I kind of set some things up here, got power through certain places, stopped here, because I will be using this in some way, shape, or form later on, but I have yet to touch whatever this is, or whatever it does. I know a lot of people probably have gone down this path to eventually do it, but I have not. And I believe it's something to do with the whole farming thing that I've seen before to an extent. But I, of course, went the power to Load Spring and kind of got power all over the place, almost nearing max here, as well as zip lines. I focused on this because I think if you focus more in here, you have more reasons you could get to, versus trying to split it between this area and this area. It's like you can get to E2 materials from this, as well as this right here, and I believe this is the skills, but you can have the E2 here, and I believe this is the E2 growth over here. But with this setup, I'm able to also get 2 rare growths of the skills. Okay. I want you to not. Okay. Can I not? Can I go on a higher level, please? There. And I also have it so that I can get to, I believe it's, there's also the rocks you can destroy, which I kind of have that. Let me get to this because it's going all over the place. Where was it again? Over here, but I thought there was another one that I connected to. Unless I'm mistaken. I thought there was one over here, but no. So, there's one here. I probably could add in another, as like you said, someone else put 2 here. I could, with an upgrade of the zip lines, I was thinking of eventually going through here to connect to this one. But I just don't have the upgrades yet, but that's something I will be doing. All this will change, but it'll still kind of have the same idea. At some point, I do want to kind of showcase the actual placements of the zip lines, because the placement I'm at right now is kind of funny. But anyway, I was kind of also connected to this, but again, the whole zip line thing. Essentially, I'll be able to get everything from here downwards in the amounts of zip lines they give you. I don't know if it's another increase or not, but I don't really focus on the top. I think there's not enough on the top to warrant trying to get to the top, unless if you get more placements and the upgrades. So it's 110 meters instead of 80. That 30 will matter a lot, especially in certain places, like being on this road here allows for a lot of vantage points. So this would be like your main zip line connecting to the others, etc., etc. I know I've seen the whole like tutorial on it, but I haven't unlocked it to really utilize it that well. The material to actually make it, by the way, specifically. But I've connected to everything, and I've started, and I got into a little bit of the power plant, but I have not gone that far into the power plant at all. I just finally talked to Fuckboy and the whole Ooch Jug type of situation, but that's pretty much it. And that's kind of where I am when it comes to the story and just getting around to things. As well as I've mentioned before, maybe not, I don't know if it's really gotten around to this point because I don't know when this video is going to come out. But I did get to Exploration 4. So that means I could get to E2 level 60 operators. Now, the last thing before I show you the kit, the current kit that I have right now, to an extent, I did get a few more skill levels, I believe, compared to the actual fight. I did beat the hardest level of, why can't I think of his name right now? My brain is really being stupid with names. We could just get into here. So, if you've probably seen this medal right here, you probably understand I'm at E2. I'm gonna have to go into medal album here. But I beaten, what is this fuckboy's name? Rodagon. All the way. Favorite boss. I like Rodagon. He's cool. Fuck Triagelos. I don't like this boss at all. And I think that's especially due to how the placement, and like even not even being like E2, being E1, completely destroying this boss with ease, and it just felt unfun. I think they definitely need to balance that area a bit more. I mean, I don't know what to really say, honestly. The best way of going about it, because I was really strong over, like, actually really too strong, compared to dealing with, Rodigan first try. Completely different in terms of, like, how easy it was first try. But I love this boss so much that I beaten the level 90 version. I enjoyed it to every single second that I could. This is just to showcase that, yeah, I did do this yesterday, by the way. And let's, I'm gonna quickly do some math right here, real quick. So we're gonna do, I didn't actually do this yet until this point, because there's a lot of other things I will be doing just before we get into, you know, the Umbral Monuments, because, you know, there's a 6-star I'll be getting to. Makes sense when you get there. But anyway, 763 divided by 60. So about 60 seconds per minute. So this is 12 minutes, almost 13 minutes of me battling Rodagon and eventually beating him with a not fully maxed out E2 squad. So let's go to operators. So this is what I was rocking. As you can see, not a lot has changed, per se. Not a lot has changed, per se. Like, I'd have to go back into the videos, but I believe I got to E2, of course, so I got the weapon up to level 60. But nothing's really changed with the weapon since. I'm not maxed out with the character, but at least to the E2 side of things. And of course, level 45, I can't get to 60. I already mentioned before. But pretty much...
The sleep of mind decides who lives and who dies in battle.
Like, seriously. I'm telling you, like, nothing's really changed except for the fact that... that these characters are not maxed out.
Watch this!
So, at the very end of this video, these characters will be maxed out E2, aside from the gear being maxed out because I could probably, at this point, go for purple gear. But I don't have enough resources to go full maxed out purple gear because they only expect you to do at least the gloves and the armor and then one of the kits to get to the set effect more than anything else. And I want to have as much as I can to figure out, do I want to go for a specific set? Well, specific set would be better. And it's because of that, that's why I haven't really gone for any purple gear, because I want to go more than just 3 pieces. I want to get at least 4, maybe experiment to see which one would I want more, etc., etc. So, to me, it's kind of like, I'm not going to touch it until I get the chance to actually make my own purple gear. So, the ability to make the components to make the purple gear. So we're going to still be rocking out to a 3-star, regardless of these characters being max level or not.
Wind speed's okay? This
And again,
is good.
showcasing,
Perfect weather for
I don't think
snowboarding.
anything has changed, per se, when it comes to these characters, aside from being E2. Similar levels. Weapon being the only difference, being level 60. The essence hasn't really changed. So yeah, this is gonna... The main point of the video is going to be seeing how well this stacks up with most same things, differences in terms of like level, skills, etc. And see how much of a difference those make, aside from being the same armor and being the same pot. It's hard to really say if they will be the same results or not.
Piece of cake.
Especially because I don't know how I am going to be, because I still haven't really done certain bosses enough to really know how they feel, like that one boss for the poison map.
The slightest slip of mind.
So yeah, that is the team that we will be working out with. And yes, that team being level 90 Rotogot. And I enjoyed every single second to minute of it. Because I love that boss way too much. Compared to the Triagolos. I don't like Triagolos. Even it's like the bosses are polar opposites with me in terms of how I like it. Which might be a bit different than probably what other people think. Anyway. Events, I will say this again. There's also like a new event that just gave like a crap ton amount of Orindiums. Or bells. Arknights here. And of course there's like this event too that you could get rewards via mail. Out of nowhere, I don't think it was necessarily just because people want more barrels. There is a part of that, but they haven't really done much New Year's-esque events until they released the New Year's events in Arknights and CN. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, we probably should do that for all versions and all servers. And here we are. Aside from EN, which kind of had it early for Arknights. Specifically Arknights, not Arknights Endfield. So the fact that we're getting this now is interesting. We'll see if it's the same time period that they keep doing this along with the anniversary. It's up in the air. They might do this a little bit earlier next year. It's not in February, but in January. Very likely that they might kind of have similar ideas or patterns when it comes to things, but it's again up in the air, and we'll have to see. So by the way, I do have all of these. These are not time limited, aside from the stupid stamina. I hate the stamina. I hate the fact that some of the stamina is restrictive, but I have finally I can RNG grind stamina now, because I haven't had that until like yesterday, after a month plus, almost a month, I should say. It's almost been a month. I finally get the chance to farm RNG, so now I have an actual use case than just random grinding random shit that I don't really have use for yet. Then I'm not really using stamina proficiently, and some people gone crazy in the comments because of it. I wish I was joking. But I am kind of joking. I am being a little bit, exaggerative. But, yeah. I did use this. I probably could use this. These are pointless because, like, the the Skyport, the forums from the Arknights Hyperglyph, which only does not have Arknights, but it has everything else for some stupid ass reason. Again, I think it just let yo star for that, okay? Anyway, these items become pointless once you realize you can just go to Skyport and it gives you all the locations for it. For the most part. There's some that I have not looked up, but I don't know how to get to at all, and I'm completely stumped on how the fuck you get to it at this point in time in the game, and I can only assume some future area in the game allows me to head back all the way back to this one specific point to get this last chest in an area. That's my only thought process, and might as well kind of showcase that real quickly. You can talk about it in the comments below as a this will be later on type thing, but I'm going to Valley Pass. This goddamn chest right here that I used by the detector, I have no idea how to get to. I have done most of the missions in this area. I have not looked it up, and I really haven't looked up anything else per se. I say that, but it's like maybe one of the tests I decided to use Skyport for, and it being 100% accurate. Anyway, I did find all of the heirlooms by myself, and if you went back to previous videos, you see me grab most of them before I did the first boss. Anyway, so this is we will wait and see, but I have no fucking clue how this will be obtainable in the future, personally. But until that point, you could say that it's a different area, or if it's a specific, not a specific mission, like the name of it, but saying, oh yeah, there's a specific mission that you have to do it. Just don't say the mission, and then I'll probably look through the missions to eventually find out. But for the most part, I think I went through most of them. So, I don't know what to really say when it comes to that. Anyway, so I heard about something about 6-star, you say. Events, I also got to mention, I wanted to mention this, I won't be finishing this event because it's locked behind an area that I will not end up exploring before I finish Valley 4. Unless I get this, like, the last day, but that means I'd have to go through the quarry, like, speedrun through it. And, yeah, yeah, no, I am not gonna get to this. I am not gonna be able to get to this. As I mentioned, that would end up happening. Anyway, I hate being right. Okay, going back to the whole 6-star, I wanted to talk about that because I wanted to talk about it and I just went into something else. Head on team. 6-star, you say? Well, it's obviously not Gilbert said. I have another 10 pull. I was gonna save it for this video specifically before we get into the Umbral Monument. I have 8 more pulls to get a guarantee. I have not put any arrow barrel into this banner, the basic head team. I have not chosen a specific 6-star. Honestly, it depends upon, by this point, what I have gotten so far that I would base off from that of what I will end up doing. Okay? Cool? Awesome. Anyway, we're going to be doing a 10 pull, and we will see what we end up getting. It could be our Ardelia again, because at least everyone should at least got a copy of Ardelia already. I wish that was kind of a joke, but I feel like that's kind of the curse so far, because we got it for free. You will eventually get it for one plot. Anyway, at this point, I guess I wouldn't mind getting the last of the 6-stars. At the same time, getting more Pogranechnik or Lefung. Getting max pots from those characters would be nice because I use them, but also because after I max pot them, if I continue to max pot, I get pots, quote unquote, more of the copies of them, I get exchange items to eventually save up to get their weapon if I don't get it through their head team banner thing. Cool? Awesome. Anyway, so that's a way that I can eventually get the weapons of the characters I like to play and use as for the standard banner. Not considering the fact that I think they will be adding more to this I'd be surprised that they don't. I kind of hope that this ends up being the recruitment feature of Arknights in a sense that there'll be characters that be added into this over time. Which brings a lot of questions if they do that, when they start doing that, and would this be from events? Like, say, like, there's a 6-star you could get from an event. If you don't get the 6-star, that 6-star gets into the basic headout. So you can eventually get the character for free anyway, later on, without being tied to an event that is no longer available, for one reason or another, unless they make the event permanent, but it's a way to max bottom, or something on the lines of that. I don't know how they would be able to go about it. I do hope they bring out 4 stars, 5 stars, and 6 stars you can get from events. That'll definitely change the ball game, because in a lot of other gachas from the mainline ones, you don't really get characters for free unless it's like some anniversary type shenanigans or major events. You don't tend to get it from an event. The closest thing you probably get would be like a weapon. And I hope they don't do that. I want them to do something different for once. Bring in a new character with a new unique kit that is not tied to headhunting. That'd be cool. And if you miss out, the character would be then into the basic headhunting. I think that'd be a cool way of going about it. It would completely change how people feel about this game. But we don't know how things are gonna go. Links are all over the fucking place. And it seems like we kind of know to an extent that the next patch will be, but afterwards is completely up in the air. I hope that they change things around and don't go with the same similar combos that they have been going about it, where most other main gachas go with 2 characters per cycle. Get that shit out of here. I think that's boring, really boring, and I think they could definitely spice it off. Especially with the suggestion of, 6 stars, or 4 stars, or 5-star characters that are through events, would spice things up greatly. We'll see if they do something like that. But, enough of me yapping. Let's get straight into the 10-pole here. I know it's going to be a 6-star. Question is, how many 6 stars? Okay. 5-star?
Catello Wolfgard Lupino, Enfield Crisis Team. I'll represent the pack. Give me any merc job, and as long as our contract stands, I'll be your claws and fangs.
Oh, 6 stars!
Greetings,
Service
Administrator. The name's Ardelia, and I'm a geologist from Rhodes Island. My current focus is the correlations between geological disasters and the ether side. I've heard about you for quite a while, Endman. And I have so many questions for you. Oh, there's something else. Can I address you as my professor?
Okay. A bit of karma, or I guess I should say, not necessarily karma. What's the best word of saying it? I just went really stupid mode there. My brain's being stupid. Can't think of the word. I can't think of it right now, but I pretty much guaranteed getting her by saying that everyone would get her, even though I already have a pot of her. So this would be my second pot. Unfortunate. I don't think there's really anything else, so I'll skip. Unfortunate. Kind of unfortunate. Like, yeah, but getting more characters for more possibilities in the future is going to be better. That's just the truth of it. As always, I will save for Discord. Oh, by the way, I'll probably be doing something else in Discord in the future. Still debating upon what I want to do, but that is something that I am currently looking into. Anyway, so there we go. Also, I used the freebies that I was given to do a bit more into Gilberta. I believe that should carry over because I already got in Gilberta in 120. So that should carry over, unless I'm mistaken. We will see if that does carry over, of that for pity. If not, well, it is what it is. And I can start new with pity. So with part 2, friendly presence improved when the control operator touches the stand of Mr. Dolly. Underly also treats another all-in operator with the lowest sensitive HP of half the treatment effects. Okay. Also, why is it? Oh, Wolf. Probably Wolf Guard.
Get a new assignment.
Yep. So I got his last picture. Okay. So talking about this. If you remember, I was talking about if they did another survey, I would go over the idea put into the survey of them adding profile themes to characters. There was a lot. I could rant and talk about a lot more stuff here. There would definitely be timestamps, but I do want to kind of go over the survey of what I put down. Not everything, because I had over 3,000 plus words at the very final end of the survey. Yeah, a lot. I had a lot to say, given the fact of going through all the, at least the 4 areas of Valley 4, and getting to past the end of the load screen, and me despising the boss but liking the area. Anyway. Okay, so here we go. So this is something I'll probably get rid of, but I wanted to keep just so that I could talk about it. I did put some stuff down, but I also put down a lot more different things. And this is not considering everything that I thought of or put on the spot. But there's some things I added into this because I thought they were really cool ideas that is not necessarily in the game. I could go into that further, but if you did a little bit of research on yourself, you'd realize that some of this stuff isn't in the game per se. Anyway, something different I've already talked about that I don't know if I put into here, but I did put into the survey itself, but I've already mentioned. The whole, like, characters getting from events that are not in the gacha, for example, is one of them. Anyway, so I've already talked about this in the last video about the profile theme UI being categorized and just being changed to look better for long term. Personally, I kept with the whole progression versus the protocol pass versus the max pot of a character, which goes into number 2, giving every single character in the game, essentially 4 stars and 5 stars, a profile theme. But I added more into it of the fact that not necessarily all of them have to be a max spot thing. You could go with some type of event or some type of character themed thing, mechanic, event, game mode, that with that character you can eventually earn a theme from them if you use that character enough in the game mode, or whatever event, or whatever they think of a way to do max pot. It's up to them at the end of the day. They kind of do that for some characters in ZZZ. I say some characters. Most of the characters in ZZZ have a system like that. So, it's not impossible for Endfield to do so. but it's not a guarantee. And it's not necessarily like a theme or profile thing. It's like an icon or something you can unlock for the roguelike mode. For me playing CCC every so often, especially in the past, it's been like a hot minute. Like I logged in to get the free 6-star, 5-star, technically 5-star, and then I dipped. Because it's like I'm not really interested in playing CCC, so it is what it is. Anyway, continuing that, early events should be permanent. Something I've already talked about before, briefly talked about before, not fully, but I think I say that, but I think I talked about it before. They should be permanent. Like, the fact that I'm going to be missing all of these events because I'm taking my time and enjoying the game, it punishes people doing that, and it's only benefits and is a bonus, and it encourages people to go through the game quickly. Anyway, after that, kind of my issues with Gilberta, more so the lack of identity for Gilberta and other characters. I've kind of noticed that I felt like they could have been made more unique. So, for example, I also realized that Pog also does this, or Pog. There's a way you can pronounce it correctly, and I'm not gonna remember it unless I just spam saying that. Anyway, so Pog and Lefeng and Gilberta's skill. So Lefeng and Pog's ultimate and Gilberta's skill. I don't know if any other characters do this, but when you use their skill, all the enemies will group up together. This type of mechanic, I felt like is like the forefront of like your spammable skill. Given I played Arknights before, I feel like this doesn't really work for Gilberta. Not just the fact that it's not really a thing she did it in the previous game. I think they could have done a way better job of making her unique and do different stuff. Like her ultimate, I think, does a good job, but her skill is just way too similar to what the other character's ultimate does. And it's like, I feel like they could have made a better job of making them more unique. Especially at the time, Lefeng versus Gilberta. I think Lefeng is more noticeable than Pogs, and is better than Pogs, you could argue. Because, Lefeng is more bigger area of effect, while, I think it's a lot shorter, smaller for Pogs from my playing with the characters, of course, of the two. And I think Lefeng's technically is better than Gilberta's because he does do a large-ass area, and I think that is a bigger area of effect of putting every enemy together that you can do that for, versus Gilberta not really having that big. So there's some weird trade-offs with that situation. Like Lefeng is going to be good at a bigger area, but Gilberta is good at consistently doing it. Well, Pog is just a nice cherry on top. It's kind of how I view the whole pulling characters together mechanic that they have going on with the three, and I just felt like they could have done a better job at making each one more distinct enough than similar but altered to an extent. But the other thing was, I think Gilberta is way more funner and more enjoyable being played as than as a partner NPC. And that's something that I've seen way too much of in this game, that it just feels like, and it brings into the issue of a lot of your partners doesn't really feel like they're doing a lot, which they kind of aren't anyway. They're not really that useful, but the fact that it just feels better to control most of the characters than let them do what the fuck they want and how the kits work, it just, I don't feel like certain characters are just better feeling being playable than on the side not really doing much. And some kits don't really work sometimes, or kind of mixed, or kind of So like I in some scenarios you'd be better off playing as Ardelia than other characters, which then you would have to focus on switching, and I don't really like that. The thing about me, I know already so far at this game, is I don't like switching in this game. On top of the fact of trying to remember what key presses I'm doing and not keep accidentally pressing Snow Shine skill when I'm trying to do Chin skill. Happens way too many times. And so you wanted me to switch just to be able to do some like Gilberta or Ardelia's like max normal attack combo just to proc whatever. It's just like, it's not really that fun. On top of the fact that it's a lot easier to control like Gilberta's skill, by the way, than having the NPC do it, from my experience. It just seems like you're more in control. So there's that on top of the fact, you know, I've already mentioned so much with Gilberta. And this is more of not an issue specific to Gilberta, but it is an issue for Gilberta as well. But honestly, going back, thinking about it, I probably could have went better on talking about as a whole, about certain, like the side characters don't really feel that much impactful, a lot of the time. And then feeling like it's better off you playing as them directly, more so than on the side, but at the same time, it's still better than the other gacha games that you only play as one character in a quote-unquote team. So it's like, it's a back and forth thing that I feel like if they want to keep going with this, if they want it to feel nicer or better, they have to figure out something. Because to me, it feels better for most characters to play as them. And I don't want to go to specific teams just to get rid of that feel. So, I feel like right now, the physical team doesn't really feel like that. But I feel like some teams, like the Gilberta and Ardelia teams, if you want those characters, you would feel better playing as them versus not. Pog was kind of like that at the start, but getting Lafung and kind of incorporating and feeling out, I lost that feeling for them, but not so much for Gilberta and other characters, just from briefly playing them. Maybe that might change if I worked out with them more and found a team that worked well. But I feel like the physical team so far just feels the most natural, really, when it comes to being a side character or being mainly playable. And I feel like a lot of the arts teams don't have that feeling. I think there might actually be some correlation between that, actually. Thinking about it more. Anyway. Okay, I guess I did actually mention it, put in here. So more different rewards for events than just characters, to be able to pull from more characters and gachas, or is able, a cooperator that is not in the gacha, or is not, of course, Inven, or Inven Pot, if they would do such a thing. So I guess I didn't even see number 5. It's been a hot minute since I did the survey, so I keep that here. I did mention that I wanted to focus on that animal survey. So number 6 is an interesting one because out of all the 4 Valley 4s, like the Load Spring sounded like, aside from the boss, I enjoyed it, and that is the case. The Science Park is the complete opposite. Like, I think the ending was probably the best part of the place, but I felt like the actual Science Park was trying to be too many different things that ended up feeling, off. Too much. No, too much would be the best. Well, it felt like they were trying to make references to many horror series. That's what it felt like. On top of the fact that some of the enemies sound like some zombies from Dying Light 2. It's like I didn't understand what they were trying to do with the Science Park and the whole what's the thing again? Blight. And the whole like similarities between Blight and Empathy. It just felt like they didn't really go too much into Blight and the whole blighted enemies shenanigans that they went with. I mean, I feel like they will at some point, but I don't think they went into it enough. personally. And then of course you have Yvonne being in there didn't really help. It really didn't help. I think my thought process that I did not put in the survey that I've been thinking about more and more, going back to Rodigan, I think Rodigan should not have been killed as early as they did. I think Rodigan should have died in the science park. And that having him at the very end would have been a way better job, especially bringing in Yvonne to the picture and him being powered up. I feel like that just works way better as a story beat. Especially because I think they killed him off way too much, especially for being a main character of the evil cast. Because if you looked into the artworks that people made, that's kind of the vibe that the people are going with. But he really isn't. He was just introduced, dead. Yeah, they didn't do much for Rodigan. Like, I love the boss to death. I like what they did for the boss. But I feel like story-wise is the one aspect that he did not shine in. And just having him die in the science park, being introduced into the tail end of the second area, would have been way better. Would have been way better. Just in a fundamental story level. But they didn't. So anyway. So that's enough of the science park. The last thing I'll mention here before we get into Umbral Monument, we need to talk about the IC facilities. So in the game, you have the whole Death Stranding 2 mechanic where you have other players build facilities appear in your game. My thought process was, why does not your friends list appear? Fun fact, your friends list doesn't mostly appear. And the fact that it doesn't have a higher chance to appear, aside if you shared it to your friend, like, they should just automatically, one, appear in the field, and two, you should be able to favorite so it doesn't take damage and always stays there, unless their AIC facility dies on their end, then it will disappear on yours. This could also encourage people to message each other like, oh, hey, can you put this here? This would help me out greatly. And it would probably break the game in some ways, but it would also encourage people to work together to do some cheeky shenanigans that wasn't really possible to begin with, and of course there'd have to be some balancing and testing. But I feel like this would be another thing by having friends would actually matter than just stocks. Because to me, the only point of having a friend is because of stocks. That's it. That's really it. Like, sure, you could show off, but that's really the whole thing. Like, you could argue other things, but I haven't really experienced those because I decided to push all that back behind missions that you have to eventually do. So, yeah, it's the way they've gone about certain things, they could have done definitely a better job with. And I think this specifically would be a nice addition to have, where your friends have a higher likelihood of appearing on your map, and you can favorite them. They don't die over time unless enemies attack it, which would be specifically the towers against enemies. But yeah, there's way more than I mentioned that I won't be able to get into. Again, 3,000 plus words. Anyway, that's just a tip of the iceberg of my thoughts and opinions and suggestions for the dev team. And I will probably change that and add more to it as time goes on. Anyway, what did I do for patch missions? Oh, week 5's here. Okay, 10 times. Trigger burst 30 times. Only for a complete area defense versus level 2. I could probably do that. Let's go to after mission. I think that's easy, really. That's not gonna happen. But I'm gonna get enough experience here that I might actually just straight up get to level 60. Oh, almost halfway. Okay. Okay. Anyway. And I did, obviously, if you didn't hear me talk about the protocol pass, I did eventually do it because it's like, unless you're going for pulls, you're not really gonna get much for pulls anyway, so you might as well fucking do it for the resources. That's what my conclusion eventually came to, realizing that the conversion rate from or geometry to ore barrel is dog water and dog shit. Compared to, I feel like it's a way better in Arknights, not just for getting skins, but there was a way better conversion. Anyway, and also because you can use it for skins, that's why the conversion is better. Which, who the fuck knows if they're gonna do skins and how they would go about it. Anyway, me yapping for 45 minutes. Let's get straight into Umbral Monuments. Can I actually eventually beat these stages at the current E2 and levels? Beating Road again, level 90 for 12 minutes. Am I strong enough to actually beat one of these levels?
Get
Maybe if
ready.
you're good enough at the game.
My blades are always
Maybe.
ready, as they never rest.
But I don't know. If anything, I don't think so. But who knows? I'll probably surprise myself here.
A blade unsheathed, its light unleashed.
Yeah, freeze them!
Tactical maneuver.
Okay, that was a weird glitch.
You got formation.
Storm of Frost!
I have become wrath!
Cleave now and cut!
Hey, yeah!
Now the boss. Okay. Yeah, I'm still not used to this boss, but the damage output that I can do is really good. Yeah, yeah.
Guess which handle crushed?
Might see. Let that go.
Cleave now and cut!
Incoming!
Ay, boss.
May I some snow? Freeze!
Give me a shout and it can show me managed. One sec, just need a quick breather.
Quick, take some of this. Fabulous work. For rescue, EMS
Okay.
Victory loves preparation.
That was, yeah, like I'm still not great with that boss. I just want to keep attacking? Why do I need to wait? That's what my brain says, even if that makes no goddamn sense. Anyway. There's some attacks that feel like it's kind of undodgeable, regardless of being able to run away. I probably could have run away in some of those instead of just trying to face it off, but... Anyway. This is where it gets a little bit interesting with the whole push mechanic.
Benjamin, you're here.
I feel like I should be able to do this. I feel like aside from, like, the axe and the bow dude, I should be able to do both of these. In theory.
A blade unsheathed, its light unleashed.
Engage.
Okay. There we go.
That move of yours was incredible.
I feel like I'm doing not so great because I'm
Once
trying to
known,
dodge.
be dead.
Feeling better.
That's not what I wanted to use. Use your skill, thank you.
Might see. Let that go!
I am become wrath. Together, lads. My strike. One sec, just need a quick breather. Watch this. Now anything shall be managed. Just no more. Hey-ya! One sec, just need a quick breather. Pronounce your parents.
Leave now and run!
Nice strike.
Shield up.
Watch this. Listen up. Shall be managed.
Breathe with me.
Another attempt.
Watch this. Just no more.
Shield guards. Formation.
Hey-ya! One sec, just need a quick breather. Guess which handle crushed? Anytime. Never seen this?
there. No rush.
Hey, yeah! Watch this! 1 sec, just need a quick breather.
Heading there. No rush.
Yeah!
The issue is that
Watch this! Just no more! Nice throw. Give me a shout anytime. Ever seen this?
Emergency treatment administered.
Watch this!
Captain ready.
Never tempt me.
Guess which hand will crush you?
Shield guards, formation.
Hey, yeah!
Brilliant strategy.
True pro.
Victory
That
loves
was-
preparation.
that feels like way harder to do than the last battle, just because of the continuous grossing attack. And it's really just a DPS race at the end of the day. Okay.
My laces are untied.
Now, personally,
A blade unsheathed.
I
it's
don't
light
think this
unleashed.
will be
Engage.
something I can do. Because this is really just two enemies attacking me at once.
Nice throw.
Deflect.
I meant to dodge, but okay.
This, give me a shout anytime. Ever seen this?
I'm gonna move my cup around. Give me a second. I
Don't get
can
hit
see
by
what's
this.
going on.
Hey, yeah! Watch this. Let me help. Ever seen this?
All units incoming.
That,
Hey, yeah! Let me help. Announcer Ferris. Ever seen this?
Cleave now and cut.
All units incoming.
I hate that, by the way. Oh shit.
Never tempt me.
Bruh.
1 second. Just need a quick breather. I have become wrath. Watch this. Shall be vanished. Watch this.
At my command.
I do feel like I am having a better time to an extent. But him running away like that might screw me over.
Yeah, let me help. Shall be vanished. Nice strike.
I got hit from all of the attacks.
Just need a quick breather.
Right there.
1 second. Just need a quick breather. Give me a shout. Possess no more. You shall be vanished. Hey, yeah!
Set less than 3 minutes. Pretty good, I would say. But having them both attack me at the same time. Shit!
Watch this. Give me a second. Ever seen this? Nice. Evil shall face karmic justice.
Cast off as cast.
Oh, I didn't even realize he died. Why the fuck did he die? What the hell happened? Use that.
Awesome teamwork.
Okay.
Wait, see? Batako!
I can't even get into my attack because it's such a.
Never tempt.
I did beat it, but.
That was a little too close.
I don't know how the fuck boy died, but he did. I have no idea what the heck happened because there's so much going on. I didn't even see what was happening to his HP bar. I'm just gonna assume it's due to the boss's area effect that continuously does damage when you're in it. Because that honestly does the most damage out of those attacks. It's that area of effect attack that, if it allow me to get into this, please, that this fucker does. I don't think that really happens, because, I mean, doesn't seem like it. But, hey, we defeated all of normal, necessarily being E2, not max level. It's level 40 to 46. Highest being level 46. Yes, the weapons were level 60. But in theory, that is how it should be because, like, the recommended level, naturally, is level 60. So, yeah, that should be how it is. Now, the agony mode is going to be different because, like, the mechanics are way more upped. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this, per se, until E3 would be my assumption. Just because of how each of the mechanics are. These guys hitting harder than hell. Just understanding both of them and trying to deal with both of them without getting screwed up. I could probably deal with one of each to an extent until they're both on the field. Onto the fact that you can't use tacticals or consumables, which is another thing that's just completely kind of makes this impossible per se. Like, it's probably possible. It's just I don't think it's going to be. And by the way, I am doing this just because the last mission is trying to do this.
Clearing the way for the rescue. Leave it
Oh.
to me.
Long. Oh god, I am all over the place.
Let me help. You shall be banished.
Never tempt.
I wasn't expecting different enemies.
Never attempt to take monsters.
Oh, I think Snow Shine's dead, yeah. Oh! I try my best. Just, there is something to take into consideration when, like, stronger stats, more HP, better skills, maybe even going for a specific operator that can heal better. It is what it is for that. I think that's just more of a stat cap than anything else, like, especially at level 90, expectation. We could give this a try.
Waiting for your orders, Administrator.
I don't see myself, unless I was ranged myself, which will somewhat be easier to dodge, but...
Li Feng of Wu Ling, ready to fight!
Yeah, freeze them!
Watch this!
In theory, this one would be the easier one.
Ever seen this?
In theory. Doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to be correct. The damage output is getting way too much for me to handle.
Watch this!
There's too many enemies on screen.
Give me a shout anytime. Ever seen this? Pronounce her spirit.
Sad moment.
Got a present for you.
Let's do this together.
Never retreat. Hey. Hey. This is no place. Present for ya. 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 Present for ya.
Oh, okay. Okay. I got the counter, but I still got also hits. Yeah. Very fair. Yeah, the counter does not give you iframes. Sorry. This is why I don't see myself doing the bosses, because I just don't see myself having enough DPS to get through them. You know.
Ready to break camp
We'll
on
try.
command.
But I just don't see myself for a hot minute to being ready. Like, people could do this without maxed out equipment or gear, so I'm expecting I could probably have
ready to
a
fight.
better
Engage.
attempt or chance. I need to remember. got hit still.
Once known, be dead.
You see how much damage I took there? Without just being there in like
Guess which
a
handle
few
crushed.
seconds? I got almost killed completely.
All units incoming!
Even though I was only in there for like the very tail end of the second.
Shield guards, formation! All units incoming!
Purity grants truth.
Cast off as cast.
Hey, give me a shout anytime. Shall be vanished. Nice strike.
Hey,
Guess
one.
which handle
Thank
crushed.
you. And I almost died.
Hey, let me help. Shall be vanished.
All units incoming!
Like, we're almost dead just because of that attack. More than anything
Might
else.
cease. Let that go!
And it just comes down to, like, how stupid that attack really is.
Watch this.
Second phase. I dodged that with moving?
Once known, be dead.
Yeah, I hated that attack. This boss is way more difficult to phase than that.
All units incoming!
Huh? What the hell happened there? Okay, I'm not even giving the chance to do shit. If it just goes as I spawn in.
Take this. Deflect. Fabulous work. Take this. Right there. Cast off as cast. Shield up. Take this. Right there. Breathe with me.
Oh god, oh god, oh god. Oh, I hate that attack. Oh, I hate that attack. Yeah, there's not that I could have really done for that. 'Cause that attack is like a guarantee.
Breathe with me. Freezing flame. Stand up.
Because, like, if it's like a multi-hit attack, you get screwed over than anything else.
Sorry. I couldn't.
Dodge smartly. You can't dodge smartly when you get really, like, fast attack hits without just spamming. And at that point, it's like, what's the point of the dodge system? I'm looking at BBS here. Not BBS. Yes, BBS. I was thinking DDD, but no, BBS. If you don't get what I'm getting at, I'm talking about Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep versus there for a minute thinking Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. If you've ever played the hardest content of Birth by Sleep, then you realize what I'm talking about. Pretty much the end game, the hardest content is you just spamming the dodge button, waiting to get attack in. Anyway, the Ballista and Axe was good until I got screwed over by some of the Ballista attack, and then the Ballista enemy itself. Anyway, I need to do all of them on the Agony modes to get the trim. This is permanent, so take that as you will. Well, it's fun. It's just that you could look at ruling, even if you're nowhere, like, near ruling. It's kind of interesting. Anyway, so there we go. So that should be all the missions. You just have to try at least one of the Agony modes, but I wanted to see how it was completely by trying it all of them. Okay, game. I thought I was trying to claim all, but I guess I have to click each. Okay, in theory, like, the whole level 60 would make sense for being E2. So you can at least by E2, you should do most of the content, quote-unquote, by the developers. That is false, but the idea is there. I'm looking at this, and this, and how the structure of when you can do stuff and how fast you are determines if you actually can do everything in the game at a certain point. It's flawed because it doesn't take into consideration of every single factor. Anyway. Well. I don't think getting higher levels is going to completely change how I go about that. I feel like the poison might be the most difficult one if I continue to deal with the same 4 operators. But that is not taking into consideration better gear and, of course, everything else maxed out. Especially the better gear part. I don't know how much of a difference the gear will make, personally. So that's kind of, honestly, up in the air. Week 5 gets solidification, and then complete battle and axe in a normal mode. Now it is infinite at 6,500. I have gotten up to here. Awesome. And I don't know what the infinite cycle rewards are going to be. Unless it's just going to be, like, going from the start here, but I don't see that being the case. I would assume it's probably just, T credits. Return to you. Interesting. Okay. Anyway. If you buy the pass on day 1, you have the highest chance to get the most out of this. Then I have to look into how things go. Get ore barrels. Oh! So was that what I ended up getting? Was I ended up getting lucky and get ore barrels from the exchange crate thing? Okay, I saw that. Okay, it just clicks that. I think that's how I got some more barrels. So I got lucky. I got more barrels. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. That was the second Umbral Monument attempt. I guess we did actually get through all of the normal stages that are released so far. Now, I am nowhere near strong enough to be able to do the agony modes, but I say we did a pretty decent job so far. Anyway, I think it's a perfect time to end it off here. There's going to be a lot of ranting. Let's say ranting. Yapping is more so the correct term than ranting. And I don't think you need to hear any more yapping or ranting. If you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure you like, subscribe, /follow. Description below is the Discord, so do please go check it out. Aside from that, go buy your summons, go buy your sharing, be safe and be healthy, and I will see you all in the next video. Whatever that may end up being. Until then, peace.